Hello, it's Megan here, the Healing Foods Coach. Thank you guys so much for coming to the channel. For those of you who have been here before and have been with me from the beginning, thank you so much for coming back. I'm so glad for your ongoing support. And if this is your first time watching my videos, thank you so much for taking the time to do so. Welcome. So today's topic is about how to carnivore or keto on a budget. Because why? Because one of the biggest myths out there is that going keto or carnivore is too expensive. Now, let me clarify. If you are choosing to eat Wagyu beef, the primest cuts of steak possible, uh, that sort of idea, it could become expensive. Absolutely true. However, you can find pretty much everything you require for a carnivore or keto diet from your local grocery store. And if you'll notice the background here behind me, that's actually a photo I took today when we did our weekly grocery shop at Sainsbury's. If you're here in the UK, they're everywhere, so you're familiar with Sainsbury's. And you probably find similar products at, of course, Morrison's, Waitrose, Tesco, Co-op. You should be able to find any of these basics at any of those stores. We go to Sainsbury's just because the quality seems to be what we like best, and the pricing is really good. Some people go to Aldi too, and you should be able to find all of these things at these locations. So it doesn't have to be expensive, and that was the big fear. So if you're buying all the pre-made foods like the fish fingers and the frozen pizzas and the pastas and the sauces, if you're buying things like boxes of cereal and endless sorts of fruits and vegetables that seem to always go bad, and you're throwing out a lot of those things, then yes, you're losing money already. Okay. And I understand everybody's, got to be wise with their spending, and we are in a, cost of living crisis here in the UK and around the world. But just a reality, we are. So you want to make sure that you're spending your money well. I understand that. But that doesn't mean that going carnivore or even keto is too expensive. I think what happens is if we are still, so at least I found this, when I first started going carnivore 4.5 years ago, almost 5 years ago, I was the only one in my family doing it. So we were still buying all the regular things, the boxes of cold cereal, the oats, the breads, the sandwich fillings, all the snacks and all the side pieces, because that's what everyone in my family was still eating at the time. So if you're still buying all of that, and then you add on extra bacon and beef and eggs and butter, yes, it can be hard on the budget. But if you're committed and you get rid of some of the other stuff, trust me, you will find yourself saving money when you're not buying all the things like instant flavored oatmeal or box cereals or breads or rolls or wraps, whatever it is you would normally have bought for yourself for lunches or even dinners. Okay, so it is possible to follow carnivore or keto and keep it budget friendly. So what you're seeing here, this is just a part of the groceries we had bought for 3 adults. That is for that's enough to get us through 6 lunches, 6 breakfast, well, 7 breakfasts, 6 lunches, and 6 dinners. Okay, for 3 adults, and we got it all for under 100 pounds. There's like we go to Sainsbury's, like I said, we get their pack of 15 eggs in a carton, and we get 4 of those. So we get 60 eggs every week. We get usually 3 packs of streaky bacon, and they usually have 14 slices in each. I always get the breakfast sausages, which you'll see kind of up in the corner behind me. Sorry, I'm pointing the wrong way, back up there. And there's 10 in a pack. And we'll get like pork mince, beef mince, burger patties for lunches. There's all kinds of deli meats and cheeses, well, deli meats and cheese that we keep in the fridge for our son for his lunchtime, as well as pre-cooked sliced chicken breasts. What you'll find over up here in the left corner behind me that's actually a pack of dog treats and some frozen veg for my husband and my son, because they're definitely more keto. I don't eat it, but they do, so that's for them. And then of course behind there we've got some full fat Greek yogurt that you can't see in this image. We got two cartons of those. We already had milk at home, so I didn't get more this time around, but usually there's at least 1 jug of milk in there. And then any of our non-food items, any toiletry items we need, that goes on the belt as well. So all of that for under 100 pounds. That's amazing for 3 adults, and that keeps us full. Again, that's so for me, that's a couple of sausages, couple of fried eggs every morning at breakfast. That's 3 pieces of bacon, 3 fried eggs for both my husband and my son every morning at breakfast. That is burger patties for my husband and I for our lunches when we go to work. And of course, as I said, deli meats and cheese for our son when he's at home. That is dinners. That can be packs of, raw chicken breast that I'll cook up and season, sometimes for me, but usually it's just for them because I prefer beef mince or pork mince at dinner time. But basically, we get all of that for under 100 pounds. And so what I've done over the years is I've made sure to keep certain things always stocked in the fridge as staples so that it never changes. So we always have 3 to 4 boxes of eggs. We always have at least 3 packs of bacon. We always have 2 packs of 10 of the sausages. Sometimes I'll get 2, but there's always breakfast sausages. So our staples are beef, both mince and patties, bacon, sausages, and butter. There's no negotiating, and milk, because my husband and my son both put that in their coffee. There's no negotiating with that. My husband will have some fat-free Greek yogurt as a snack, and again, deli meats and cheese. So these are some ideas. If you're already doing something and you found a way to make it more budget friendly, fantastic. Share your suggestions or your comments below because it might help other people too. Feel free to comment below. But if you're stuck for ideas and you're not sure what you should stock up on or what you should have in your fridge and freezer, these are some ideas. I would say definitely, unless you're allergic to any of these things, keep your fridge well stocked with eggs and butter, probably burger patties, bacon, and sausages. And then whatever else you want to experiment with. If you want to get yourself fish or seafood, if you want to do other cuts of pork, feel free to do that. Sainsbury's usually has those things often on a pretty good offer. They have their pre-seasoned packs of barbecue ribs that I get for my husband and son to split. It's a quick meal, relatively tidy because it comes pre-packaged. You just open it up and bake it in the oven, right? Some suggestions, but it doesn't have to be super expensive. So you'll notice I didn't say all sorts of steak like ribeye and other things. If you can find a good butcher, now we do go to the butcher sometimes, we just haven't recently, but when we do go, we stock up on things like steak, brisket, and other cuts of meat or chicken, okay? But when we are unable to get to the butchers, then Sainsbury's is a really good option as well. So if you don't have a butcher's close to you, that's okay. I would bet that if you go to, if you're in Canada, whether you go to say Loblaws or Sobeys or IGA, or even Tiger, they have a lot of foods in their stores now as well. Some of it chilled, some of it frozen. You can find stuff that's decent quality, that is tasty and relatively inexpensive. So it is possible to cut out the crap, get rid of the processed carbs, reduce your intake of them or eliminate them, get rid of the seed oils and the junk food, and to eat healthier relatively inexpensively. It doesn't have to be expensive. Now, again, if you're somebody and you want to have the Wagyu beef or the tomahawk steaks or things like that, and you are willing to spend that money, go for it. Of course, absolutely. It doesn't mean you can't have it. But for those who maybe don't want to have or can't afford to have things like lamb chops and premium cuts of steak on a regular basis, you don't have to. You can go to your local grocery store and you can get all the things you need. Deli meats are a good option. You can, get pre-cooked lunch meats like ham, chicken breasts that are pre-sliced, easy to grab and go if it's, lunchtime. Keep loads of eggs on hand. Even if you don't have them at breakfast, you can hard boil some, have them at lunch, have them as a snack, right? just some ideas. So this myth that carnivore or keto is too expensive to do doesn't have to be true. We can make it expensive, but doesn't mean it has to be. And especially if you make a point of avoiding all the keto snacks, or you're, making sure that you're keeping the food real and as whole as possible, and you don't have to get like, say, a beef Wellington with the pastry for dinner. You can just get some beef, chuck it in the oven. If you don't like cooking, you can get sort of more ready meals from Sainsbury's, and those can be carnivore keto friendly. Be careful because their sauces can have a lot of extra sugar, but they have on the uncooked side, so we're talking like the Chinese or the Indian takeaway things. But if you go to the other side where they've got Italian style, say, I know they have something right out now called the Italian chicken arrabbiata chicken breast, and it's uncooked, so you have to bake it in the oven. However, it's already pre-seasoned, pre-sauced for you. You literally peel off the plastic film and chuck it in the oven for the time that it says. So it's pretty easy to do. These are all some different options, and they're not overly expensive either. Just some thoughts. So the whole point of trying to go keto carnivore is, yes, we want to get rid of all the seed oils and the processed sugars and the carbs, but you got to make it so that preparing yourself nutrient dense animal sources of fat and protein are easy to do. Because if you make it too hard, why would you want to stick with it, right? Doesn't have to be hard. So again, whether you like to make stuff from scratch like I will or not, you find all of these different options. And again, I know they're not just at Sainsbury's. You can go to Tesco, you can go to Waitrose, I'm sure, M&S. They all have these ready to cook meals where they're pre-seasoned and sauced up for you. All you got to do is put them in the oven and time them. You don't have to think about it. They're pre-seasoned and ready to go. Even some of their flavored, like say whole chickens in a bag that are pre-seasoned. There's a thought. Do a whole chicken up. You've got potentially leftovers for a couple of days. So you have one less thing to think about, say for lunch the next day or even dinner the next night. So these are all some things to think about. And as you stop spending money on, say, the fruit and veg that always seems to die in your fridge in the crisper and go black, and as you cut out the boxes of cereal and the processed snacks that, let's be honest, we should be cutting out anyways, what you'll find is that you actually do start to save money, and it's totally worth it. So I hope this is helpful. Again, if you're trying something yourself, share your tips if you've got some, because it could really help other people out here. And let me know. And if you have questions, put them in the comments below or reach out to me, thehealingfoodscoach@gmail.com, and I would love to answer your questions. Again, just as a reminder, if you are interested at all in some one-to-one coaching, I am, for a brief time, I will be offering the first session at no charge. So please get in touch, but just keep in mind the spaces do fill up quickly. So if you're interested, please get in touch and let me know. thehealingfoodscoach@gmail.com. Other than that, guys, I hope you enjoy your Saturdays. For those of us in the UK who are having a bank holiday weekend this weekend, I hope you get up to something enjoyable and fun. And for those of you who don't have a long weekend, I still hope you have a great weekend anyways. Thanks so much for watching. Appreciate all your support, you guys. It is always appreciated. Thank you so much, and feel free to share this with anybody you think that it might help or encourage. That's why I do this. Thanks so much. I will be back soon with more content, but until then, take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye for now.